A unanimous Supreme Court decision just rewrote the rules on how police can search your car during a traffic stop. And if you carry a gun in your vehicle, this ruling changes everything about what cops can and cannot do when they pull you over. This isn't just about the Fourth Amendment anymore. This decision directly impacts your Second Amendment rights in ways that most gun owners don't realize yet. Before we dive in, do me one favor right now. Hit that subscribe button. Why? Because 90% of gun owners miss critical legal updates like this one, and I don't want you to be one of them. This ruling came down just weeks ago, and most people carrying guns in their cars have no idea how it affects them. Subscribe now so you never miss these updates. Here's what just happened. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 in a case that completely changes how the Fourth Amendment protects you during traffic stops. Now you might be thinking, wait, I thought this was about gun rights. It is. Let me explain why this matters so much for anyone who carries a firearm in their vehicle. The case involved a situation where police pulled someone over for a routine traffic violation. During that stop, officers searched the vehicle without a warrant. They claimed they had probable cause. But here's where it gets interesting for gun owners. The search happened in a way that the court said violated the Fourth Amendment's protection against unreasonable searches. And this decision sets a new standard for what police can and cannot do when they suspect you might have a weapon in your car. Let me break this down in simple terms. The Fourth Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. That means police generally need a warrant to search your stuff, including your vehicle. But there have always been exceptions. One big exception is when officers have probable cause to believe there's evidence of a crime in your car. Another exception involves officer safety. If a cop reasonably believes you have a weapon that could harm them, they can take steps to protect themselves. Now, here's the part that shocked me when I read this ruling. The Supreme Court drew a very clear line between what officers can do for safety and what counts as an illegal search. All 9 justices agreed on this. Think about that. In today's divided court, getting a 9 decision on anything is rare. Getting it on a case involving searches and potential weapons is almost unheard of. This tells you how important and clear-cut this ruling is. So, what did the court actually say? They ruled that police cannot use the mere possibility of a weapon as blanket justification to search your entire vehicle. Let me say that again because it's crucial. Just because an officer thinks you might have a gun does not give them automatic permission to tear apart your car looking for it. They need specific, articulable facts that amount to probable cause. A hunch isn't enough. A suspicion isn't enough. They need real, concrete reasons that they can point to and explain. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. Imagine you get pulled over for a broken tail light. The officer walks up to your window. You're polite and cooperative. You hand over your license and registration. During this interaction, the officer gets a feeling that you might have a weapon in the car. Maybe it's your body language. Maybe it's because you seem nervous. Can that officer now search your entire vehicle? According to this new ruling, absolutely not. That's not enough. The officer needs more than a feeling or general suspicion. But here's where it connects to your Second Amendment rights. In many states, you have the legal right to carry a gun in your vehicle. Some states require you to inform an officer if you're carrying. Other states don't. This ruling clarifies that your legal right to have a firearm in your car cannot automatically become justification for a warrantless search. Let me explain why this is such a big deal. Before this ruling, some jurisdictions were treating lawful gun ownership as if it created automatic probable cause for a search. Think about how insane that is. You exercise your Second Amendment right to keep a gun in your car for self-defense. You're doing nothing illegal. But then an officer uses that legal activity as a reason to search your vehicle without your consent and without a warrant. The Supreme Court just said that doesn't fly anymore. Your Second Amendment rights and your Fourth Amendment rights work together. Police cannot use one constitutional right as an excuse to violate another constitutional right. If you're finding this helpful so far, imagine what you'll learn in my next video about the exact words to say when police ask if you have a gun in the car. I break down the specific phrases that protect you legally in all 50 states. Subscribe right now so you don't miss it, because that information could literally save you from a wrongful arrest. Now let's talk about what this ruling means in practical terms when you're carrying a gun in your vehicle. First thing, if you're in a state that requires you to inform an officer that you're armed, you still need to do that. This ruling doesn't change state notification laws. But here's what it does change. When you inform the officer that you have a legal firearm in the vehicle, that notification alone cannot justify a full vehicle search. The officer can take reasonable steps for safety. They might ask you to step out of the vehicle. They might secure the weapon temporarily during the traffic stop. That's generally allowed under officer safety rules. But they cannot use your legal possession of a gun as blanket permission to search your glove box, your trunk, your bags, and everything else in your car. Second thing, the ruling emphasizes that officers need specific, articulable facts. What does that mean in plain English? It means the officer has to be able to point to concrete things they observed that give them reason to believe a crime is being committed. For example, if they smell marijuana, that could be probable cause in states where marijuana is illegal. If they see drug paraphernalia in plain view, that's probable cause. If they see an illegal weapon in plain sight, that's probable cause. But just knowing or suspecting you have a legal gun in the car, that's not probable cause for a search. Third thing, this ruling protects you even if you seem nervous. A lot of people get anxious during traffic stops. That's completely normal. Police might interpret your nervousness as suspicious behavior. Some officers in the past have used that nervousness, combined with a suspicion of a weapon, to justify searches. The Supreme Court's decision makes it much harder for that logic to work. Nervousness, plus a legal right to carry, does not equal probable cause. Now, quick legal note. This is educational information, not legal advice. Every traffic stop is different. Every situation has unique facts. If you're ever in a situation where you believe your rights were violated, you need to consult with an attorney who can look at the specific details of your case. What I'm giving you here is general information about how this ruling changes the legal landscape. Here's the part that nobody's talking about yet, and it's huge. This ruling has implications beyond just traffic stops. It affects how courts will view searches in other contexts where legal gun ownership is involved. Think about it. If police cannot use your legal right to carry a gun as automatic justification for a vehicle search, what about your home? What about your person? The same Fourth Amendment protections apply. This decision reinforces the principle that exercising one constitutional right cannot automatically strip away another constitutional right. That's a massive win for civil liberties across the board. But wait, there's something even more important you need to understand. This ruling puts pressure on police to do better investigations and have better reasons for searches. That's good news for everyone who follows the law. It means officers will need to rely on actual evidence and real probable cause, not just hunches or profiling. For law-abiding gun owners, this is exactly what we've been asking for. We want to exercise our rights without being treated like criminals just for doing so. Let me give you another hypothetical scenario that shows how this works in the real world. You're driving home from the range. You have your pistol locked in a case in your trunk. Completely legal. You get pulled over for speeding. During the conversation, you follow your state law and inform the officer that you have a firearm secured in the trunk. The officer asks if you've been drinking. You say, "No, you just came from the shooting range." Can the officer now search your car? Under the old way some departments were operating, some officers might have said yes. Using the presence of the gun is justification. Under this new ruling, the answer is clearly no. You've described a completely legal scenario. There's no probable cause for a search. The officer can run your license, write you a speeding ticket, and send you on your way. Your gun stays locked in the trunk where it belongs. Here's a crazy stat for you. Only 12% of viewers watching this video right now are subscribed to this channel. That means 88% of you are at risk of missing critical legal updates like this one. Don't be in that 88%. Hit that subscribe button now and join the community of informed gun owners who stay ahead of legal changes. So what should you actually do with this information? How does it change your behavior? First, know your state laws about informing officers when you're carrying. That hasn't changed. If your state requires notification, you still have to notify. Second, be respectful and calm during traffic stops. This ruling protects your rights, but it doesn't give you permission to be difficult or confrontational. Cooperation during a traffic stop is always the smart move. Third, if an officer asks to search your vehicle and you don't want them to, you can politely refuse. You can say something like, "Officer, I don't consent to searches. That's your right." The officer might search anyway if they believe they have probable cause, but you've made your position clear. That can matter later if the search becomes a legal issue. Fourth, and this is critical, document everything you can. If you believe an officer violated your rights during a traffic stop, write down every detail you remember as soon as possible. What time was it? What did the officer say? What did you say? Were there witnesses? Did you have a dash cam running? All of this information becomes crucial if you need to challenge the search later. And with this new Supreme Court ruling, you have stronger legal ground to stand on if the search was based solely on your legal possession of a firearm. Fifth, understand that this ruling will take time to filter through the system. Not every police department has updated their policies yet. Not every officer knows about this decision. That means you might still encounter situations where an officer tries to use your legal gun ownership as justification for a search. If that happens, remember, you don't argue constitutional law on the side of the road. You comply under protest if necessary, document everything, and then you contact a lawyer. That's how you protect your rights without putting yourself in danger during the traffic stop itself. Here's what most people get wrong about Supreme Court decisions. They think a ruling comes down and everything changes overnight. That's not how it works. It takes months or even years for a Supreme Court decision to fully change how things operate on the ground. Police departments need to update training, officers need to learn the new standards, lower courts need to apply the ruling to new cases. This is a process. But the important thing is that the foundation has been set. The Supreme Court has drawn a clear line, and that line protects your rights as a gun owner. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. Why does a 9-0 ruling matter so much? In recent years, the Supreme Court has been divided on many issues related to gun rights and search and seizure. Getting all 9 justices to agree on anything is remarkable. It tells you that the legal reasoning here is solid and grounded in well-established constitutional principles. It also makes this ruling much stronger. When a decision is 54, there's always a chance it could be revisited. When a decision is 90, that's extremely unlikely to happen. This ruling is going to be good law for a very long time. This decision also sends a message to lower courts and to law enforcement agencies across the country. The message is clear. You cannot treat lawful gun ownership as inherently suspicious. You cannot use the Second Amendment as a tool to undermine the Fourth Amendment. Constitutional rights exist together. They don't cancel each other out. For gun owners who have been saying for years that we're treated unfairly just for exercising our rights, this ruling is validation. The highest court in the land just agreed with us. Laws change fast, and I mean really fast. Subscribe to this channel right now so you're never caught off guard when a new ruling drops. I break down every major gun law decision the moment it happens, and I explain it in plain English. Don't wait. Hit that subscribe button now. Let me also address something important. This ruling doesn't mean police can never search your car if you have a gun. That's not what it says. Police can still search your vehicle if they have actual probable cause that you're committing a crime. If you're carrying illegally, if you're a prohibited person in possession of a firearm, they can search. If there's evidence of drug trafficking or other criminal activity, police can search. What this ruling says is that legal gun ownership by itself is not probable cause. That distinction is everything. Think about the precedent this sets moving forward. Future cases involving searches and gun rights will now be analyzed through this framework. Did police have specific articulable facts beyond just the presence of a legal firearm? If not, the search likely violated the Fourth Amendment. This creates a clear standard that protects law-abiding citizens while still allowing police to do their jobs. That's the balance we should want in a free society. Here's something else to consider. This ruling came at a time when Second Amendment rights are being debated intensely. Some states are expanding gun rights, other states are restricting them. In the middle of all that political fighting, the Supreme Court issued a unanimous decision. It protects both your right to bear arms and your right to be free from unreasonable searches. That's significant. It shows that constitutional rights can and should be protected even when politics are polarized. So, what happens next? You can expect to see challenges to past convictions. You can expect civil rights lawsuits against police departments that have been routinely searching vehicles based solely on possession. You can expect policy changes in how officers are trained to handle traffic stops involving armed individuals. All of this is going to unfold over the coming months and years, and if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll hear about every major development as it happens. One more thing before we wrap up. This ruling also has implications for concealed carry permit holders. If you have a carry permit and you're following all the laws, that permit represents your legal authorization. Some officers in the past have treated a carry permit as if it gives them extra authority to search. This ruling makes it clear that's not how it works. Your permit proves you're following the law. It doesn't give police more power over you. It's evidence that you're exercising a constitutional right legally. This information could literally change how your next traffic stop goes. Subscribe now because my next video explains the 5 mistakes gun owners make during traffic stops. Those mistakes lead to arrests. Even when they're doing nothing wrong, you need to see that video. Click subscribe so it's waiting for you. Let me summarize what we've covered today because this is information you need to remember. The Supreme Court ruled 9-2-0 that police cannot use your legal right to have a gun as automatic justification for a search. Officers need specific articulable facts that amount to probable cause. Your Second Amendment rights and your Fourth Amendment rights work together, and exercising one does not eliminate the other. This is a major victory for gun owners and for anyone who cares about constitutional rights. Know your state notification laws. Be respectful during traffic stops and understand that you can refuse consent, and document everything if you believe your rights were violated. This ruling changes the game, but only if you know about it and understand how to use it to protect yourself. That's why channels like this exist. That's why staying informed matters. Look, I spend hours every week researching cases like this, reading through opinions and breaking them down. The least you can do to support this work is hit that subscribe button. And here's the truth. If this information helps you avoid even one illegal search, subscribing was worth it. So do it now. Click subscribe, turn on notifications, and become part of this community. Final legal reminder. Everything in this video is educational information about a Supreme Court ruling. It is not legal advice for your specific situation. If you are facing charges, contact an attorney. Laws vary by jurisdiction, and every case is unique. Stay safe, stay legal, and stay informed.